We continue with this story about the coronavirus and its effects on the global economy. The airline body has said it could take a major hit this year. Cole Stengler here on the set to tell us more. Cole.
That's right. Well, carriers around the world taking a hit from the coronavirus. That's a message, at least, from the International Air Transport Association. It says global demand will be falling for the first time in more than a decade. Now, the trade group's director says 2020 will be, quote, a very tough year for airlines, with the brunt of the damage coming from Asia. The report comes as carriers around the world have been forced to reduce flights and revise their growth forecasts. John Emil Jamin has the details.
Flying towards a loss. Coronavirus set to strike again, this time to the airline industry. Shortfall from the virus is expected to be in the billions, according to the latest report by the International Air Transport Association. A full decline of over 4.7% in global passenger demand and over 29 billion in lost revenue. Most of that loss will come from Asian airlines, making up 4 of the 5 fastest growing passenger markets worldwide. It's the first expected drop-off in demand since the financial crisis in 2009. The SARS epidemic also hit hard in 2003. Back then, a swift recovery followed the decline. But despite using the SARS model for their latest prediction, the association has cautioned that the effects of coronavirus might not follow. It assumes the virus remains centered in China, but the trade group warned the effect could be far worse if the infection spreads further, a concern not just for Asian airlines. On Thursday, Air France-KLM warned large hits to earnings by April, with shares falling sharply.
All of this put together leads towards a negative impact that we estimate for now to be between 150 million and 200 million euros. It's not a surprise. At the end of the month of January, with the start of the coronavirus, whose primary impact, obviously, was seeing a progressive decrease of our forward bookings on a regular basis.
With the rate of the virus spread now on the decline, airlines will be hoping to arrest the revenue slump as passengers begin climbing aboard once again.
Let's take a look now at the day's trading action. European indices with some slight losses to kick off the day. Here, as you can see, the FTSE down around 0.5%. Losses also on the CAC 40 and the DAX over in Frankfurt, nearing around 0.5% there. German insurer Allianz announcing higher than expected profits. That's helping to change share prices there over in Germany. Now, rough day on the major Asian indices to close out the week. The Nikkei shedding around 0.4%. Also some heavy losses on the Hang Seng in Hong Kong, also on the Kospi and Seoul. That's after South Korea reported dozens of new coronavirus cases. Investors also taking in those disappointing figures on global air travel. Meanwhile, in the United States, one of the biggest banks on Wall Street is turning towards Main Street. Morgan Stanley is acquiring stock trading platform E-Trade at some $13 billion. It's the largest takeover for an American bank since the financial crisis. It allows Morgan Stanley to tap into a new source of revenue and is also part of a growing trend as big banks seek to reach new, relatively less affluent investors. The firms still need the green light from U.S. regulators, though many observers don't expect that to pose a problem. Next up to Brazil, where state oil giant Petrobras is basking in record profits. The firm raked in some $10.2 billion in 2019, up more than 50% from the previous year. This month, it's battled a strike as tens of thousands of workers opposed layoffs, though that walkout is now on hold amid mediation. The company's CEO also said the company is ready to weather any storm caused by the coronavirus, even as oil prices have dropped and China's economy sputters.
China is a major importer of commodities and a major exporter of manufactured goods, and this will continue. So it will always be an important market for us, but at the same time, we cannot be dependent on a single market.
And finally, a sternly worded note on climate change from one of the world's biggest banks. Economists at JPMorgan say human life as we know it could be threatened by climate change. Now, without action, there could be, quote, catastrophic outcomes. The note projects global warming to hit not just economic growth, but also health and life expectancy, while potentially causing famine and mass migration. It also includes a call for a global carbon tax. Well, JPMorgan has come under fire for not doing enough to fight climate change from activists, though certainly its researchers at least appear to believe it's a very serious threat.
It is, and it's something we hear about often every Friday, thanks to the Fridays for the Future. So maybe the banks will change something. Thank you very much, Cole. Cole Stengler.